What's up, guys and gals, for an on-time review this week of Kengan Omega Chapter 317 entitled Fighting Maniac. Now, whether you like or dislike the direction of this chapter, I will admit that I'm a little disappointed by the fact that we didn't get more of the action, you know what I mean? We got one name moved, and that was the end of the bout or fight, quote-unquote, or the spar between Hushen and Oma, our main character, right? And stuff like that. And I was hoping for a little more, at least a chapter's worth, right? So I do agree that these little bouts, these little tiffs almost, are getting kind of like, I want a full-on, like, half a dozen chapter fight. You know what I mean? I want a straight-up just, they fight. Because this is a fighting manga and stuff. So I understand the sentiment there. And overall, I do like, and we'll talk about the different details going forward and stuff. But the main crux of this is to why. Why did this fight, quote-unquote, end so early? And as I already said, if you like or dislike the chapter, that's on you, and that's on me, and that's on all of us. Our opinions, whether we liked the direction of this chapter or disliked it, or there are points we liked, other points we didn't, fine dandy. But the community at large, all I've seen spammed, is that Oma is Goku, and that's fucking wrong. Alright? It's rant time, baby. Alright, let's get... There we go. Alright. It's rant time, baby, because Oma is not Goku. Okay? 110% he is not Goku. And here's why. Everyone says that the reason, and why are people calling him Goku in this chapter? Well, it's because after, you know, a few different hits, the exchanges of blows, and he uses flash steel and stuff like that, Hushen basically says, you know, and uses it back on him, and he's like, wait, did you actually know that move and stuff? Because Oma gets a solid hit on him. And he's just like, and then he copies it, supposedly flashing steel. He goes, no, that actually isn't flashing steel. It's just a very similar move that I have up here. And fighting you is really, like, it's getting everything coming back to me, like I'm really advancing at an incredible rate. Exponential growth, if you will, right? And I accept that. That's all good. Oma immediately gives up and says, I think we're done for today, Hoshen. And Ryuki's like, dude, tell me you're not serious. And fucking Hushen even says, like, I'm not going to give you another chance. This is your best shot. And in all honesty, you right now, and this is true, and I think as a community, we can all agree on this, Oma would probably win this fight. I'm actually going to go on a limb and say that without outside interference, Oma definitely beats the connector as he is right now. Oma has only advanced, and Hushen is not able to keep up with that level. Like Oma has to go all out. I'm not arguing that. But he would win this fight. 9 times out of 10, he's going to win this one, right? So why does he give up? Well, what people are calling the sensu bean thing, once again, wrong. Again, you obviously never saw Dragon Ball. And I'm not saying that he's not another character. Because he is another character here. He's just not Goku. Fact of the matter is that Oma says, I met Wulong. And he's a monster. He's absolutely terrifying. He shook me to my core. But as Yan, who I hate to always give praise to, but he brought up the idea that, listen, this guy, they all thought they were on the top of the mountain until we showed them the connector and realized there was a far bigger mountain to climb, and now all these people who had basically become stagnant in their quote-unquote mastery realized there's a higher heights to reach. Oma being one of the biggest ones to accept this fact. You know, only Kuroki Gensai was the only one, after winning the tournament last time, was the only one to say, I have more to improve upon. Everyone else was good with their skill set until the connector showed up. Oma is now, as he says, he's a monster, stuff like that. But he also inspired me to, this is something I can overcome. And we know this from old Oma. He might not have the crazy faces anymore like he did in Ashura. He might not go all nuts like, hey, you sick fuck, do you want to throw down with me? Blah. You know, is he doing that shit anymore? No, but he's also fucking like a decade older. People mature. You know, I would hope so anyways. So, fact of the matter is that Oma here is basically saying, I'm still a fighting, and as Hu Sheng says here, you really are a fighting maniac. Like, I'm not going to give you another chance here. Ryuki's not happy about it, but he's just like, I don't want to fight you at this half measure. Yeah, I could probably beat you right there, but I wouldn't be satisfied with that. I want to fight Shen Wulong. I want to fight you at your peak. I want to fight you, the dragon. I want to fight the dragon, pretty much. Hu Shen basically takes that, he aura farms a little bit and says, well, if you, all right, it's up to you, but listen here, I promise you the next time we fight, I will be as strong as the dragon. So I will be Shen. I will be Jackie's level. So this is your chance. You don't want to take it? All right, it was an olive branch. I'm taking it away. It's your choice. And I'm just like, I'm good with it. So we have 2 other parts to the chapter. Well, actually 3. We'll talk about that little bit at the end because I love that. I love that bit at the end. But let's talk about, it's, as I said, it's rant time, baby. So, whew. Hey guys, quick edit here for the until this timestamp that I'll put here in post. I am gonna rant about all the different villains that Goku has fought across many, many years of the Dragon Ball franchise, and how what Oma is doing here is very definitely more closely related to Vegeta against Semi-Perfect Cell, and actually has very little in common with anything Goku has ever done over the decades. Because the internet as a whole has decided that Oma pulled a Goku with this one, and I completely disagree. So, but if you're not interested in why and going down each point, just skip to this time point. That should be right around here-ish. You know, right here-ish. Yeah, I'll put it right here. Right where the boobies go. Right where the boobs are. So I'll put it right here, and you can just skip to that if you're not interested. If you are interested in making each of those points separate, then keep watching. So, yeah. This is not a Goku thing. Where the fuck did anybody get the idea that letting someone power up because they're not a good enough fight is a Goku trait? That has actually never happened in 4 fucking series of Dragon Ball. At least not that I'm aware of. Tell me in the comment section which enemy he fought and decided, I'm going to let you go to become a better fight that I can't defeat later. Because I'll tell you who this is, and we'll go through the Goku list, by the way. Because I know people will bring up Frieza as the number 1, and then they'll bring up the Senzu Bean Perfect Cell thing as number 2, both of which did not actually happen, or I will give you the context, because it's rant time, baby. And this is Super Vegeta and Semi-Perfect Cell. Oma is 1000% being Super Vegeta in the Cell arc right now. Line for line. So where are people getting off saying this is a Goku thing? This has never been a Goku thing, and this never has been a Goku thing. Goku's been around for 40 goddamn years, 50 goddamn years at this point, and this has never actually happened once, as far as I'm concerned. So we'll just skip the tirade of Dragon Ball, because no one but like old people like me have ever actually watched the entirety or read the entirety of Dragon Ball. So let's just move on to Dragon Ball Z. Then we'll get to why this is a total Vegeta trait. So let's go down all the major enemies from each arc. Saiyan arc, he fights Raditz with Piccolo. No letting Raditz power up to come out swinging later or anything like that. They had to 2v1 him and he died. So nope, Raditz doesn't count. By the time he comes back from the dead and fights Nappa and Vegeta, he dog walks Nappa after arriving, you know, long enough to save Gohan and Krillin, but everyone else is gone by that point. Once again, not allowing Nappa to do this. He just was training, and then he got there when he got there. Okay. Then he fought against Vegeta, who actually dog-walked him in Ozaru form, and then it took Krillin, Yajirobe, and Gohan working together to defeat Vegeta. Goku never allowed Vegeta to do all these things. He just was stronger than Goku, even with the Kaioken at the time. So, Saiyan villains. Alright, Saiyan arc. Done. No problem there. Let's go to the Namek and the one that probably people are referencing, the Frieza saga, the Frieza arc. Okay. Goku's not on Namek for 3/4 of the goddamn saga. So it's all Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan and Bulma. Alright? So none of those fights even matter. Then he gets there, he dog walks the Ginyu Force. There's some body changer-rific things that happen a little bit there for some comedic effect. But that actually ends up really going nowhere, and Goku ends up just having to be healed. It's just to take him out of the fight. You can argue a narrative point, do whatever you want. Fact is, when Frieza shows up, it's against Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, but not Goku. By the time Goku arrives, he is already in his final form. So Goku did not allow him to transform when he had the opportunity to beat Frieza before transforming to his final form. No, he did not allow this. And then Frieza had one final quote-unquote form, Frieza 100%, where he basically, his final form Frieza, he just bulks up. Okay, but he did that after Goku had already turned Super Saiyan, and Frieza at 100%, if you watch the anime, try it again, and read the manga, Super Saiyan Goku was still stronger than, in the same way that Trunks slice and dice Frieza, no problem, right after this. Frieza was not nearly as strong as Super Saiyans at base level Super Saiyans at this point. So 100% Frieza didn't matter. He was already blowing up the planet. Charging up to 100% didn't. It was completely irrelevant. Goku still won the fight. And then the big thing. He let him go to be a better fight later. No, not exactly. He let him go to try to say, I will give you one shot at mercy. This is the first time you've ever had your ass kicked. Maybe and hopefully this has humbled you. This was a narrative choice. People don't like it. But here's the thing that everyone takes away from that. And you can argue that that's similar. But everyone forgets the fact that then when he actually decides to let Frieza go, Frieza decides to backstab him, and Goku, for all intents and purposes, assumes he went for the kill shot. He killed Frieza as far as Goku knew, because he fired back the famous, "You fool!" and fired back on him. And I can't do a Sean Shamel, so sorry about that very bad "you fool," but, you know, I'll try again. "You fool!" You know, he did that. So Goku did not let Frieza go. Just so we're clear. None of this is similar so far. Am I wrong? Double check the facts, but so far not wrong. Then, Android Saga shows up. He never fights any of the androids. He fights a fat clown and gets his ass kicked, and Vegeta takes care of business. Fine dandy. Awesome. Never fights any of the androids, so the androids are completely irrelevant to this conversation. Cell in this arc. Okay. He does fight Cell. When he's perfect at the Cell games. The first time Goku fights in the arc. He fights against Cell. He tries his best. He does actually win. The Piccolo Cell thing, I mean, make your arguments there. The Warp Kamehameha does win the fight. Goku's tired, but he has his trump card in Gohan. You can argue Goku's a bad dad for this decision, even though he was right in the end. He might have made a bad choice, but he did not allow Cell to power up to 100%, or, you know what, I could defeat you right now, but I'm going to let Gohan do it anyways. None of that happened. Goku at this point was not strong enough to defeat perfect Cell. Maybe another Warp Kamehameha thing, but that trick was only going to work once. Once again, Gohan was the hero of that arc. So, at the end of the day, that was not Goku letting anybody live. And what does the sensu bean have to do with this? Because Goku was actually not fighting. By that logic, it'd be Goku was like, I could beat you right now, but that's not good enough. I'll give you a sensu bean so I'm on a handicap and I'll keep fighting you. That's not how it went. The sensu bean thing had nothing to do with Goku getting another round against Cell. So that's not relevant. Let's move on. Last arc, Buu Saga. He literally did go all out. Super Saiyan 3, every chance he got, he fused with Vegeta and he spirit bombed Buu. Every chance he got, he went all out. He never allowed Fat Buu to become Super Buu. He didn't allow Super Buu to absorb people, and he didn't allow Super Buu to become Kid Buu. That just happened to happen. So, at no point did he allow Super Buu or Majin Buu at any stage did Goku allow Buu to become stronger. If you're going to argue the whole, I'm dead, I might have been able to defeat Majin Buu in Super Saiyan 3 form, but it's not my world anymore. Once again, had this happened and any other day, Goku would be right here. Goku is not of this world. It's not his job to save the world. This is Gohan's story. It's Vegeta and Piccolo and Gohan. It's their responsibility to save the world, not Goku. Goku doesn't belong there anymore, and this just happened to be a coincidence. So if you want to argue, that's actually the best argument in all of Z. If you want to argue that he thinks he may have had a chance which once again, not permanent, but he may have had a chance to defeat, in Super Saiyan 3, defeat Majin Buu at the time, then, alright, that's the closest thing you come to this argument. GT, none of this ever happened. I only watched it fully through one time, but I don't remember him allowing Super Android 17 or Omega Shenron. In fact, he prevents Mega Shenron from swallowing the 4-star Dragon Ball a second time and wants to keep fusing with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta due to the fact that he's like, we can't beat this guy. We need to get rid of the Dragon Balls inside of him, weaken him before we kill him, right? So, didn't happen in GT. And as far as Super goes, you can blame a fucking, you can blame just about anything on that one. You can blame the Tournament of Power on Goku, which, yeah, sure. But that's not the same thing here. Like, none of this is the same thing. But you know who this really is Prince Goddamn Vegeta against Semi-Perfect Cell in the Cell Saga. When they come out of the hyperbolic time chamber and he's kicking Semi-Perfect Cell's ass and Trunks is even standing by, not even needing to help, Vegeta can end Cell. He can end this arc. No Cell games, no Super Saiyan 2, none of it. It can all be over. And Semi-Perfect Cell, it's slightly different here, but Semi-Perfect Cell basically goads Vegeta into the idea of, I'm at half-mast here. You don't really want to defeat me at this level of strength. No. If I was in my full power, you would not stand a chance. And Vegeta took that personally. And for the rest of the series, Vegeta is to blame for everything that happens after this. Because Vegeta decides, instead of wiping Cell out and ending the arc and being satisfied with his power level, he decides to go on the pride trait. That, you're right, beating you right now wouldn't feel as satisfying. I want you to go to your 100%. And then when I kick you in the dirt, it'll be that much more satisfying because I want to prove to everyone that I am the best. That no matter what you do, I will be the strongest. Who does that sound like? A certain Ashura Oma, which everyone praises. Everyone hates Omega, but everyone loves Ashura. So let's get back to Ashura. How many times did Oma say, I just can't stand someone out there being stronger than me? Sounds good from Oma. Sounds great from Vegeta as well. But the fact of the matter is that is a Vegeta trait, even more so than Goku. Not that it's not a Goku trait, but Vegeta actually has the feats and facts to back it up. Because he literally does this. He allows Zarbon to transform, he allows Frieza to transform, and he quite literally could, because you could argue that he never would have beat Frieza, regardless, but that he wasn't strong enough, the Dende thing and blah, blah, blah. But 110% Vegeta could have ended Semi-Perfect Cell. He did not do so, allowed 18 to be absorbed because Vegeta just was that arrogant and said, you know what? I want to kick you at your strongest. I don't want to beat you at half power. I want to beat you at full power. And then the rest of the goddamn arc happened due to Vegeta's fucking whipping out his dick and being wrong. So that is exactly what's happening here. Oma is not doing a Goku, people. Stop with the Goku. He's being Vegeta. He's being Super Vegeta right now. Super Vegeta against Semi-Perfect Cell. I can't dumb that down any further. Oma is 100% because he's just like, yeah, no, I can't stand anyone to be stronger than me. I am the Prince of all Saiyans. I have to be the strongest in the universe. I swear, Oma could say, I need to be the Prince of all Kengan. I need to be the Prince of all Nikos. I am the Prince of everything. I can't stand there to be someone stronger than me. And beating you when you're beating you when you're injured, beating you when you're not at your strongest, I don't want to do that. I want to fight you at your fullest so that when I do it, it's satisfying. It's 100% Vegeta. It sounds like Goku, but the evidence says that it's never been Goku. Goku has never actually done this. Vegeta, however, has done this multiple times. So, once again, this is a Vegeta thing. And I'm not against the fact if people want to call out like the MC power that is Oma on Goku and make the comparisons to Goku, fighting savants and all these things, fantastic. But the arguing in the negative light that Oma is pulling a Goku here and it's bad writing. No, this is Oma pulling a Vegeta here and you can argue it's bad writing. I don't really care one way or another. I like more Kengan, but whether it's bad writing, good writing, or indifferent writing, the fact of the matter is this is far more Vegeta. This is like 90% Vegeta and 10% Goku. And I've seen nothing but Goku gifs across multiple social media platforms. So I'm just like, needed to get that off my chest, alright? So anyways, the rest of the chapter goes on to showcase us that we jump back to the hospital and stuff. As I said, there's 3 more short parts to this chapter. We see Luhan, but before that, actually, we see Shion is there with her begins with an M. Anyways, her assistant, her secretary, her assistant and stuff. They went to check on Setsuna, but Setsuna, just like Oma found out, had checked himself out and stuff like that. And she said, you know what, we're not going to look for him and stuff like that. It's like, you and I, you know, we don't live in the, we might be in the underworld, but Setsuna's in a far darker version of even our underworld sort of idea. If he wants to contact us, he will come to us, but it's best that we leave him alone and not look for him. I don't think, like, they're not saying this because, oh, he'll come after us or we'll be in danger. It's just like, you know, let's let things lie. If he wants to find us, he will and stuff like that. You know what I mean? This is his way of being, like, considerate. He's like, I don't want to put you two in a bad position or in danger or anything like that. And that's just exactly what happens. So it's like, okay, fair enough. And then they move on and stuff. And at the same time, in the same hospital, fake Nico is wheelchairing Luhan out of the hospital after he got his shit wrecked by Shen. And funny thing is here is that, you know, Nico's worried about this, but we're still going on this whole idea. Fake Nico's like, so we couldn't get in touch with the Death Dealer branches. The weapons of mass destruction are gone. Our leeway, our like trump card is gone. Like the majority of Luhan's influence and power is all but gone. So why does he seem so happy? And Luhan's just there wreaking this very malicious, very toxic like aura and just saying like, none of you have caught on to my actual goal. You know, he's fucking nuts, okay? He's absolutely batshit insane. And last part of the chapter is the best. I'm sorry, you guys might not like this, but I fucking love this. There's no evidence to say that Tiger and Dragon don't like each other. There's no evidence to say that they can't like flip flop. So the fact that there's a little pop. All right, you guys all done? Well, let's go keep drinking with Joe. I want to go meet up with my buddy. It's Jackie time. And like Ryuki and Oma are like, did you just flip the sides of your brain? Like the comedic of. It's so good for comedic, like, intent or element, I suppose. Like, it works. The fact that, like, yeah, and as I said before, he's obviously not quiet. He's talking and stuff, but the tiger has never woken up. And now that the tiger's woken up, it's like, yeah, hey, can we flip-flop for a while? Sure, I got what I wanted for the day. Yeah, go have drinks with Joe. I'm good. And the tiger just leans back. Dragon takes over for a while. It seems to me that the tiger's going to be in the driver's seat for the most part, but he's not against the dragon coming out because they've come to this understanding and this agreement. Dragon's like, oh. Shen's like, oh, you want to turn at the wheel. All right, you know. Like, can I pop out now and again to have a couple of beers with my buddies and stuff like that? Like, I won't interfere with your stuff, but like, you know, when you want a break or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Can we like trade off a couple hours now and again? Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, cool. And that would seem to be like the inner monologue they must have had at some point because he literally pops in and it's just... I actually really like it because I'm like, yeah, Joe's drinking buddy. The drinking buddy, the bromance is still well and alive and I'm here for it. Because it means potentially we get more of Shen and Joe like Joe and Jackie sort of together again. You know what I mean? We can still get extras with them. We can still get them in the background having drinks going, yeah, they're kicking their ass and stuff. Why are you two commonly talking about this? And they're like, well, you know, I'm not the one down in the ring fighting. Like, I feel like they could still be on looking into a match, you know, and still having the commentary. It'd just be fun. Or what if they have a comedic idea where it's like, okay, if he drinks too much, the tiger takes over and the tiger can't handle his alcohol or something like that. So if Dragon switches over to Tiger and he's like, hey, let me tell you, you thought you only had the one chance, put it up. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be hilarious if the Tiger can't handle his booze. Dragon drinks, switches over, and then he's fucking hammered. I think there's a lot of potential for great background comedy with the fact that they can just flip-flop at the snap. You know what I mean? I like that. I really like that aspect. So 100% yes to that. Yeah, so this was a long review and stuff, but at least it's out on time. And I had to rant about the Dragon Ball thing because that's all I've seen. 3 Discords, 2 Reddit forums, and I think I even got a message, something else. Anyways, yeah, no, it did, and even on Komaki itself, in the comments, there was like 3 or 4 people who said at this chapter, it's like, oh, so he's pulling a Goku. It's like, no, he's not. So I just had to bring up that issue, and as I said, give me evidence where I'm wrong. I will give some leeway to the ones that I gave examples for and stuff like that. It's like, if that's how you see it, sure, but that's sort of getting into the nitty gritty, and there is defense when it's like, yeah, okay, you can argue that is kind of Goku, but it's so more obviously Vegeta. I don't get where, like, has nobody ever read or actually watched Dragon Ball anymore because it's so clearly Vegeta. As I said, 90 Vegeta, 10 Goku, so why is everyone yelling Goku, you know? When it's obviously a Vegeta thing that Oma's pulling here, you know? So, anyways, like it or hate it, I don't mind it. It makes sense for Ashura Oma. I know people will say it's Omega's bad writing, but Ashura Oma would have done the exact same fucking thing. He'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not satisfying. You think you're stronger when you... I don't want to fight the tiger. Bring out the... He would have yelled at him and said, bring the dragon out, motherfucker. You know, like, he would have been pissed. He would have been like, I don't want to fight you. You're weaker. I want to fight the dragon, you know? So the old Oma might have been a little more abrasive about it, but the same conclusion would have happened with perfectly written Oma versus Kengan Omega Oma, supposedly, according to so many of the fans, right? So yeah, but that's it for me. I think I've talked enough about that. And yeah, so chapter 317. I'm all right with it. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get more of Oma versus Hushen here. But for the most part, the rest of it was fine. So, it is what it is. Looking forward to 318. Apparently, there's a break next week, so there won't be 318 next Wednesday. But, once again, I'm not sure about that. You know, I'm getting my information secondhand. So, I don't know if there is a chapter. Of course, there'll be a review of it. But if there is a break, then there is a break. So, it is what it is. We'll see you back here when 318 does inevitably come out. So, with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see all you guys back here next time for more Kengan Omega. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. See ya.